Introduction. On the night of October 27, 00, I was desperate to get high because I had been sober for 2 months. My friend L was blabbing about combining drugs and he ended up betting me 1/4 of an ounce of marijuana that I wouldn't do all of these drugs at once. I agreed on the bet, and we gathered up the drugs. I paid for the bud, DXM, alcohol, nutmeg, he got the Datura, Vicodin, and Ritalin. In case you're wondering, before this experience I had smoked weed, tripped off of DXM, only once, using 8 pills, tripped off of Datura, called Moonflower where I live. I've taken it twice, both times eating all the seeds in one pod, and gotten drunk. I had never tried Vicodin, Ritalin, or Nutmeg before this. There were 3 people involved, including me. I will call my 2 friends, L and M. To prepare for the experience, we got all of the drugs I was going to take. It was a Friday, so I was able to stay away from parents, cops, teachers, etc. for a few days. I went to L's house, along with M. L's father was home at first, but the only people at L's house from 12:45 p.m. Friday to 4 p.m. Saturday were me, M, and L. We also got ice cubes, Jolly Ranchers, and orange juice. We had everything ready and planned out by about 1 p.m. All names and phone numbers have been changed. The first thing I did was eat the nutmeg. I had a full 1.1 ounces bottle of it. I ate mouthfuls of nutmeg at a time, swallowed as fast as I could, then drank the orange juice. I ended up eating that whole bottle of nutmeg, very hard to do without puking. I got very close to puking, but stopped myself. I waited until 1:32 p.m. Then I swallowed the DXM pills, Coricidin cough plus cold, 16 pills, 480 mg. DXM. At 1:45, I ate the moonflower seeds, 2 pods with about 2¼ in diameter, about 140 seeds, uncooked, not dried. Then I snorted a little less than 1/2 of the Vicodin pill and 1/2 of the Ritalin pill. I started feeling dizzy and light-headed by 1:53. At 2:40, I was still feeling the Ritalin. I think it was the Ritalin. I was hyper and dizzy. I also think that the moonflower trip had started too, and definitely feeling the DXM. I wanted a high of the weed, so I smoked about a dime. I had a quarter for me to smoke. L and M had 1/8 of an ounce for them to share. L and M smoked a couple bowls between them. We just sat around and talked until about 3:10. When M was telling me I had better drink the alcohol and smoke the rest of the weed, because I would be trippin' too hard. I smoked the rest of the weed, but it really hurt my throat. I had bad dry mouth from the moonflower. I was sucking on ice cubes while I was smoking, and that helped a little. The Jolly Ranchers didn't work as good. The last thing to do was drink the alcohol, so I drank a screwdriver that L made, with about 4 shots of vodka, and drank about a cup of Captain Morgan's Parrot Bay coconut rum. L's dad bought it and the vodka. Then he left for work. He didn't know about the other drugs though. I felt really FCK at D up. The only things I remember after this was watching parts of the first 5 or 10 minutes of Scream 3. M rented it, and talking some. The rest of the story is what L and M told me. I don't remember any of it except parts of my dreams. When we were watching the rest of the movie, I kept leaving the room. M followed me, and I guess I just wandered around his house. He would tell me to come back to the room, and I would respond by just blabbing on like, "Oh, he doesn't have the pipe, but I bet the gem will." Or, "Seriously? I thought you weren't." M would just then lead me back into his room. I said something like, "Arso the dog has burned my throat," and pointed to my mouth. Then I tried to run to the bathroom, but I kept falling and stumbling, so I crawled to his trash can and puked in it twice in a row. My eyes were very bloodshot, my pupils were dilated, and my eyes were wide open. I peed my pants at about 4 o'clock, and at 4:45 I could hardly breathe. I tried to talk, but when no sound came out, I just pointed to my mouth and started crying. I was drinking a lot of orange juice and eating ice cubes and Jolly Ranchers to try to get rid of the dry mouth. At about 6:25 p.m., I passed out on the floor of M's room. In my sleep I was twitching a lot, and I was saying everything out loud. My friends stayed awake to make sure I didn't break anything, and sometimes I woke up and rearranged things for no reason, like putting a stack of paper in the freezer, and moving the TV around the room. From 6:30 p.m. to 3:20 a.m., I was talking, but I slept until 6:15. These are some of the things my friends remember me saying. Seriously? I said that at least 8 times. Hi, is B there? Isn't this 555-0934? B is one of my friends. Hi, are there? It's already 8 o'clock. What's taking you so long? R is my weed dealer. It was about 11 p.m. when I said that. Y, get in here. Y is my brother. I yelled it loud. Man, where'd the bowl go? It was right here. I said this a lot. Sometimes saying joint instead of bowl, and one would open my eyes most the times I said it. You can't do that already. I remember everything after I woke up. When I woke up, I was still tripping off the moonflower, but everything else had worn off. I was hearing things and felt kinda drunk. As for visual hallucinations, I only remember two, some moving green blob on my door and color differences. M told me, "Why were you talking so much, man? Last night was so trippy to see you like that." I had no idea what he was talking about. Then M and L told me about how I was talking for such a long time. The only things I remember dreaming about were calling B on the phone and walking around my school. I stayed at M's house, but L went home at 8 a.m. I went home at 3 p.m. Because M said I was talking to people that weren't there, but I stopped around 2:15 p.m. I was sick for about 3 days after that, and L gave me that well-deserved 1/4 of an ounce. So, in conclusion, I would recommend never combining too many drugs. What I did was very stupid and almost caused me to die.